What's up everyone, Vinny Musso from Musso Athletics here today to give you a drill to really work on strengthening your feet. Work on your feet, work on your ankles, work on your Achilles. Any athletes out there, you know how important your feet are. It's your connection to the ground, so you could have the strongest upper body, the strongest core, strongest glutes and quads, but if your feet and ankles are weak, then this really, you're not going to really be able to translate that strength and power into performance. So what I want to go over today too is a drill that's really good on strengthening your Achilles. We're really going to bulletproof your Achilles. A lot of people out there know how, if you've had an Achilles injury, or you maybe know someone, or you've seen an athlete on TV get an Achilles injury, that's kind of become the new ACL injury. And what I mean by that is, a torn ACL used to be kind of like the death bell for an athlete's career. It was very tough to recover from that. That's kind of, athletes are getting better and better at recovering from ACLs, but an Achilles tear is still kind of a injury that is very difficult to come back from, and a lot of athletes really struggle to come back to what they were before the injury. So what I want to show today is a drill or an exercise that you can do to work on that Achilles so we don't end up getting an Achilles injury. So before we go into the drill, I kind of want to look at, what really causes an Achilles injury. A lot of people, if you've had an Achilles injury, or if you've seen someone go, have an Achilles tear, an Achilles injury, most of the time it happens from a loaded position in a dorsiflex position. So what that means is if we look at my foot here, so dorsiflex is my toes coming up towards my shin. So in that position there, and many times it's in a loaded position or in a push-off position. So if someone kind of drops down to cut, or drive by a defender, whatever situation is happening in the game, a lot of times you see an athlete drop down, and this foot here, again in that dorsiflex loaded position, that's where a majority of Achilles injuries happen. So there've been a lot of methods. People say, stretch your calves and your Achilles and you'll be fine, or do jump rope, and you'll strengthen your Achilles and reduce your risk. And both those techniques are good, but we want to look at it a little bit more in depth. So if we look at stretching, so stretching puts us in that, that dorsiflex position. So if I stretched out my calf, yes, I am stretching my calf, I'm stretching my Achilles, I'm simulating that position, that I'm in a lot of the times, if I were to get an Achilles injury. Problem is it's not a loaded position, okay? When we're stretching, a lot of the times we don't have the full weight of our body going through our foot. So I'm stretching out my calf and my Achilles here, but I don't really have my full weight. So stretching comes up short in that aspect. Another exercise people say to do is jump rope. So your old-fashioned jump rope, just jumping up and down. It loads our body, so it loads our Achilles, so that's kind of better than just stretching it, because now we do have the full weight of our body going through my calves and my Achilles. The problem is I'm not really simulating that position, that dorsiflex position. If I look at myself jump roping, I'm really staying in a plantar flex position where my toe is pointing down toward the ground and my heel is up off the ground. Okay, so I'm more in this position as opposed to that dorsiflex loaded position. So that's really where jump roping kind of comes up short. So this drill here really kind of takes the best of both worlds. It takes the stretch, it puts us in that dorsiflex position, but it also loads the Achilles, loads the calves, so we're actually putting our full body weight through our Achilles. Okay, so getting a slant board or something like this is a great investment if you're an athlete. We have them here at our gym at Fit Strength Performance, but if you don't have one of these, I would highly recommend getting something, to either a slant board itself or something to simulate that. But what we're going to do is slant board hops. Okay, so a lot of people, you've probably done, box taps up onto a flat box. It's essentially the same thing, just with a little bit of an angle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop off of 2 feet. I'm going to tap the box with 1 foot, come back to 2 feet, hop off of 2 feet again, switch, tap the box with my other foot, doing that in a continuous manner. So if I kind of go, full speed here, I hop, I tap, okay, and I'm just going back and forth, landing on the ground on 2 feet, tapping the box with 1, okay, and I would go through that sequence. So if you'll notice, if you can put this video in slow-mo or kind of take a look at the different angles, of me doing this exercise, you'll see as I come up and I land on the box, with that 1 foot, I'm in that position where we see a lot of Achilles injuries. Okay, I'm in that dorsiflex position, so I'm working on that range of motion, but I'm also putting my full body weight through my Achilles, so I'm really, also simulating that more so than if I was just jump roping or doing, a single leg box tap on a flat box. Okay, so again, I jump off a 2, I land on 1. Okay, and the key here is I want to be very light on my feet. I'm quick transitions. I'm not jumping as high as I possibly can. I'm not really focused on that right now. But I do want to focus on trying to be light on my feet. So I am trying to do this whole drill keeping my heels off the ground. So even when I'm here, my heels are off the ground, and when I tap the box, my heel doesn't touch. Okay, because again, that's really going to load that Achilles tendon more and really kind of expose it more to, a situation that we're going to see in a game scenario where we could be at risk for injuring our Achilles, which again is kind of that dorsiflexed loaded position that we're in when we're trying to push off, and whether it's a sprint or you're trying to make a sharp cut, whether it's on the field, on the court, or whatever sport that you play. So definitely a great drill to add in, before you're doing, any type of workout. This is a great drill kind of as a warm-up. So maybe instead of doing jump rope, you do a few sets of this. So maybe do this for 30 seconds for 3 rounds. If you get better at it, you can bump it up, to 45 seconds. But again, not going super high with the jump, just focusing on tapping that box, getting in that dorsiflexed and loaded position, being light on my feet, staying on the ball of my foot, and coming back down to the ground. Okay, so again, throw this in to a warm-up or your main workout. It'll be a really great way to strengthen your feet, strengthen your Achilles, strengthen your calves, and a benefit is not only injury prevention, but if we can strengthen that area of our body, it's just going to make us an overall, better athlete. Because again, we talked about you could have the strongest upper body core, quads and glutes, but if your ankles and Achilles and feet are your weakest link, you're not going to be able to translate that to your sport or whatever activity it is that you're training for. Okay, so hope you guys like this drill. Make sure you follow Amuso Athletics on YouTube. We're on Instagram, on Facebook. We'll post more videos like this talking about injury prevention, sports performance, hypertrophy strength, all that good stuff. So make sure you guys give it a follow. See you next time.